Happy Monday. I hope everyone's had a good weekend and that the week started well for you. It's always nice coming back from the weekend and then getting to start the week with things after having been at home, not doing anything for most people, or maybe working even harder at home. Hey Nadia. My fiancée always jokes that her friend says, "Oh, it's so nice for you now that you have a long weekend," when she has a long weekend. Sometimes she'll have the Monday and the Friday off. It's like calm, nice. Like it'll be more work because I have to have the kids. So like the weekends when you have small kids is not always a calm time. Hey Sue. I had what was I thinking about? We just watched photos of the kids when they were small, and my fiance said, "Oh, can we have another one?" Because when they're this tiny and they're just so small and cute. And then they grow up and they get bigger and they get teenagers, and then eventually they'll also have children of their own. And then after that they'll get old, and then they'll be as old as I am. And then one day they're going to have kids, and then they're going to die, and everything kind of goes on. There's some peacefulness when you think about how we don't live forever, but that it actually ends. Meaning that all those things we find so important and so stressful, not really that important, because you're going to die anyway, so it's like, why stress about it? And I really mean that in the best of ways. Hey Nicole, nice to see you. Yeah, I really, I just finished the video. I had the video done, I was just doing the packaging for it, with the thumbnail and stuff, so I'll release that one. But I really do think that death is so soothing somehow, because it really makes you just go, oh, wait a minute, all that conflict, all that drama, all those things that I was so upset about, when I die, it will be like, it's done, kind of. Why not just enjoy yourself and then do the best you can with the time that we have? It is interesting how difficult it is to accept the idea that it's okay to feel good when things aren't the way we want them to, because it's just really deeply ingrained. And there's almost a belief that if I don't feel bad, that means I don't care, or that means I don't want it to turn out this way, so I have to feel bad so that it does. Oh, okay, I understand, Nicole. No problem. Yeah, I did react to it, because I haven't seen you for a while. You were here not long ago, though, once I remember visiting. But, yeah. Anyone have anything interesting that you've been running up against lately? I'm always curious to hear about people's meditation questions or things they struggle with, because it is, I mean, after all, that's kind of, struggles are the things that make us look deeper, and then when we look deeper, usually things go better after that. But you need that resistance to give you a push to grow, because if things were just easy without anything interrupting you, you'd probably just be stuck on, just doing whatever you do, and then not realizing like, hey, it sucks to feel this way, I want to feel better. And then when you feel better, or when you choose to feel better, then you realize you can actually do this more than just when it's going well. Hey Luna, nice to see you. I was just talking to a group of people who helped me with the YouTube channel, and then like we're a few creators, and one of them had clients, and he was saying how it was difficult when he had to work, because he worked much better when it was just towards the end, and then it was almost like, okay, I have to really have this project done now. And that's when he started working. And I don't know if you recognize that. I did that a lot. I still do sometimes. But it's like, if you have 2 days, you will take 2 days to finish it. You won't finish it before, but you'll do it just towards the end. So when we were discussing this, I realized how much we're conditioned to believe that, and even as I said it to them, I said like, hey, wait a minute, like instead of focusing on the end result, meaning that you get the product done for your client, or the task done for your client, if you would instead focus on feeling good while you did that, meaning that you don't have the goal of, I'm going to finish this in the best way possible, and there needs to be the perfect solution, and they need to think this is incredible, instead focusing, okay, when I do this work, I should feel good and I should enjoy myself while I'm doing this. It's such an alien concept to us because it just doesn't make any sense. It sounds like, oh, you don't care about it, or you don't care about the end goal, you just care about feeling good. But when you feel good, we function so much better. We just work much better. We're more creative. We come up with more ideas. We enjoy the process more, so we're more likely to do more of it, compared to when we struggle and we feel bad and we kind of try to whip ourselves into or punish ourselves so that we do the thing. Let's see. I'm struggling with purpose since my burnout. I'm guessing. Worked very hard for a year, and now it feels like I need to find purpose for the last X amount of years of my life, and I have no clue. Sorry, I need to blow my nose. I apologize. When I left to become a monk, I was looking for my life purpose, and I remember I was looking for a lot of things. My life purpose, I wanted to figure out what happened before life and what's going to happen after life, and I wanted to find out if there were more stuff to this world than what we can see. And I solved the problem, like all of those questions I solved, especially the one with finding my life purpose. And it wasn't that I figured out what to do. It was that I figured out that the reason you believe you need to find your life purpose is because of you. It's because you feel that I am here, I am important, and if I don't find my life purpose, if I don't find something meaningful to do, then something's going to happen. No one tells us what's going to happen, but something bad is going to happen if you don't find your life purpose. You need to find that. It's just this whole thing we have since we're born, kind of, I need to figure out what to do with my life. I need to do something. I need to figure out what it's supposed to be. And if I do it wrong, something really bad is going to happen. But I don't really know what it is. And no one tells you, but it is very, very bad. Just going to work and just doing what you enjoy, it has to be something really special. So when I look more and more at this thing motivating me, which is uncomfortableness, it's basically you feeling bad. And we believe that if I find my life perfect, I won't feel bad. Then that's basically what we're asking when we're saying, what is my life purpose? And I'm not picking on you in any way, I'm just saying how I experienced it. I had a feeling that was uncomfortable inside of me that I thought would go away if I found my life purpose. And I tried jumping from one thing to one thing to one thing to one thing to one thing. And I just tried all these things. And first it was, I can't even remember. I was probably going to be a firefighter, and then I was going to be an astronaut, and then I was going to do career in finances, and then in sales, and then I was going to do photography, and then I was going to do something else. And it never finished. There was always something else. But when I instead started looking at that feeling, oh, I feel uncomfortable, why? And letting go of that and actually accepting, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, and that's okay. I can just enjoy being here. Then it's much easier to do what is your life purpose in a way, because me sitting here doing this is not my life purpose. I'm not doing this because I really need to share what I've been through and I want to save the world. Not at all. It's just when I relax and I enjoy myself, then this is what I want to do. I enjoy sitting here. I enjoy talking to you, and I enjoy you presenting me with things you run up against, and then me just sharing my perspective, which you may or may not agree with. It's just my perspective from having lived the life that I have. So instead of trying to live my life purpose, I just make sure, do I feel good doing this? Do I enjoy doing this? And if I don't feel good, then that's why sometimes I don't release videos for a little while, because I don't really feel like it, and I don't need to do it. I don't do this because I have like a plan of it's going to go with this amount of years, and then it's going to do this, and I'm going to come up with this whole... It's like I have an idea of what I want to create, and I'm very happy with that, but I don't feel no stress. I'm happy with being at the normal janitor work that I have, and I'm happy being a father, and I'm happy just fixing things here. And then if I would do this more, I would be very happy doing that as well. And I would want to work towards that. So instead of trying to find one's life purpose, one can instead look at that feeling of what is it that makes you feel you need to find that, and realize that's actually the problem. Because very likely it would be difficult for you to find. There are some people who find the thing that really makes them happy, but very likely it's because they just enjoy doing those things, and so then it's my life purpose. So yeah, just some thoughts on that. Let's see. It kind of feels like my life is wasted if I don't do it. I also did 1,000 things, thank you. How to get to that happiness. And that's the thing, it feels like life is wasted, but so what? I mean, what happens if it's life? There are some people who just die randomly without having achieved anything. I just heard a story about a mother who lost their I think he was 2 years old or something. She just wrote a newspaper, I think, about that and told the story. It's just really sad thinking about that. And you could say, oh, that young, you wouldn't say that young boy's life was a failure because he died when he was 2, or that it was wasted because he really liked playing and he jumped around and played and did stuff. He didn't waste his life. He enjoyed his life. And I mean, you don't have to save. I when I left to become a monk, I wanted to save the world. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to have deep insights and then go out and help people. And I wanted to really do I have none of that. I mean, it doesn't add. I don't do those things to give me happiness, kind of. I just do them because I am happy while do you see the difference? So just look for instead, like, Sue is such a good example. She loves dogs. So in a way you could say it's Sue's life purpose to work with dogs. But I mean, I haven't actually met Sue in person, but I've talked to her. And it's kind of obvious that she should work with dogs because she loves dogs. So it makes her happy. And then is it her life purpose, or is it that she enjoys doing it? And so then it becomes, I don't know, but it just makes a lot of sense. So if you look at it from that perspective, like what do you actually like to do? And then also thinking about does that need to be your living? I love singing, and I'm pretty good at singing, and I used to be in musicals and do stuff like that. And I thought that I wanted to work with that, but that's a terrible business to be in. Really, really not something I would want to do after having tried it. So that doesn't mean you have to do that as your work, but you can do that on the side if it brings you joy. This brings me joy, so I do this on the side. If at one day it would actually become bigger and I can work with it more, then I would be very happy to do that. But I'm also okay just keeping it like this, making sure that I enjoy while I'm doing it. There were times when I tried to figure out YouTube and do YouTube videos in a certain way, and I just didn't like it. I wanted to share what I had, and I enjoyed doing that. But when I got too structured into like thinking how it's supposed to be, then I didn't enjoy it. And even though some of those videos got really many views, I didn't like it. So why would I do that? I'd much rather do videos that fewer people watch, but that I enjoy doing, and then those people get to meet me, and then yeah. How to get to that happiness? Yeah, that's the thing that we have to work with. Disconnect purpose from work. Yeah. Let's see. Nadia said something here. Let me just see. Nadia, I have also just been thinking about death and the peacefulness since the last sitting. I haven't meditated this week, and I'm disappointed in myself. It's the same thing there with we believe we need to do something, and it's the same with meditation. We don't. I mean, if meditation makes you feel bad, then it's not really working. And it doesn't matter what you did before now. Like last week, we can say, okay, I didn't meditate this week because I was not feeling well. I was too stressed. I didn't have the energy. I just felt lazy. I just had an argument with my husband, or my kid was extra difficult, or whatever it was. It doesn't matter, because now is a new day. Like today, you're here now. And then what are you going to do tomorrow? But we tend to then start identifying, like, oh, last week I was such a bad person. I didn't meditate. I didn't do my rituals and the things I should do. And I didn't, I'm sorry, meditation should be a ritual, but I didn't do the things I had promised myself to do. So now I feel bad. Why? Feel good. And if you feel good, then very likely you're more likely to start sitting again, because it's something you enjoy doing, and that you believe is beneficial to you. So it's the... it's the classical thing that people so often, when I talk to people, it's laughable because I've done it myself so many times, but I'm pretty good at not doing it now after a lot of practice, is that we make ourselves feel bad because we're feeling bad. So I feel bad, and now I feel bad about feeling bad. So don't do that either. Just accept. Last week was not a good week for meditation-wise, but this week, I mean, right now, it's going better, right? Because you're here. So we'll meditate in a few minutes. Let's see what else. Nicole said, I don't think purpose is anything external. And if you look at the animals, they all live perfectly and have purpose. Yeah, you could say it that way, absolutely. But don't do anything special. So it was twofold for me. I love dogs, and at the time our purpose was to keep people safe and find them if they were... Yeah, exactly. It's very natural when things like that come together for most people. But if you try to... I think that's the problem when people go out on spiritual journeys. They want to find themselves and then find their purpose. Is that then they're actively looking. It's a little bit... I mean, all of us here are a little bit older, but when we were younger, and you want... Well, you can still look for a partner, but when you look for a partner, if you really try to find someone, it's rare that you find someone who fits you well. It's not impossible, but it seems like everyone I met has been when I wasn't really actively looking, but instead they just kind of showed up and like, oh, this is a nice person, I'd like to be with her. So then it's a little bit similar with this, I think, when you try to force out your life purpose or meaning into things, then it's more difficult for them to appear to us. Most of the time. Nothing is absolute. Obviously, it can happen. I mean, dating sites, I know people who have met people through dating sites, and it kind of... I mean, there's something really sane about it. You can skip a lot of the other stuff, and you can just share, this is my interest, this is what I like, and then you find someone who kind of aligns with that. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say thank you. I don't know who it is, but usually every time I log in and I'm about to start streaming, I see there's like 1 or 2, sometimes 3 people waiting to join the live stream, and it just makes me happy every time. I'm like, oh, there's someone here. Because I still have that little bit, oh, what if no one comes and I sit here alone? And it's always nice to see. And it's also beneficial because I sometimes create the next stream. I do that now so that it's in the schedule, and then I forget to go out of it, and it shows 0 viewers. And if there's 0 waiting for it, I'm like, okay, is this actually today's stream, or am I on another one? Have I clicked the wrong one? So it's beneficial in that way. Nadia, Martin, I wanted to ask if you ever had health anxiety, and does it still bother you at all? You seem to cope very well with your next sleep. You mean like hypochondria, or worry about dying, or health anxiety? I mean, I've had... My mother has schizophrenia, my father died from heart problems, my grandfather died from heart problems, and my father was worried a lot about him dying from heart problems. And he died when he was 70. My grandfather died when he was 62, I think. My father did a bypass operation when he was 44. At the time, he was one of the youngest people in Sweden that they ever did that to. So I have thought about that. Hypochondria. No, I don't have hypochondria in that sense. It's more the same thing here. Hypochondria basically means that you're afraid that this will end. When I think of death, it is one of the most peaceful feelings I know, because it means that all the struggles, all the worries, all the things that I find so, it needs to be like this, it has to be like this is really important, they don't matter because I'm dead. So, I mean, why worry about it? And my approach to what happens after death is that there's absolutely no way we can know what happens after death, so I don't even speculate about it. The only thing I think about is now. What am I doing right now? And if you feel good and you enjoy yourself where you are, very likely you won't misbehave towards others. Very likely you won't act... Well, it's impossible to act out of anger, because when you enjoy yourself, you're not angry. So if you let joy and enjoyment, and that doesn't mean enjoyment of things, I mean enjoyment of being alive. When you enjoy things, then yeah, you can believe that I need that thing because that gives me joy. That's not the joy I'm talking about. So I fear things like pain or going blind. And I was like, no, I mean, I can worry. I hate syringes, like getting needles. And I think when I was younger, I was worried about that because my father, I remember when he got the bypass, we went to visit him and he had like his whole chest had been cut open and they had cut here and they cut up his leg and got veins. It's a messy procedure. And I used to think that I'm so afraid of being stung with needles. And he said they did that quite a lot. Well, they had those, katet, it's called in Sweden. No, it's katet. You put basically a tube into your arm, and I hate those because I can feel the thing in my vein, kind of, so it lies there and scrapes, so I don't feel comfortable with them. But I don't really think about that. I think I just accept the way it is. I mean, I cannot swim really well because my kneecaps, both of my meniscuses are broken, so if I swim like breast swimming, my legs pop. And I get kind of paralyzed in the water. So, and I used to do scuba diving. I'm a dive guide instructor. A dive guide, not instructor. And I've been scuba diving a lot, but I simply couldn't do that anymore. Maybe I could do it somehow. And there was a part of me that had to feel sorrow when I realized, I can't do something that I love. But I'm okay with that, and I can't really run. I know that it's difficult for me to travel. Good evening, Jack. It's difficult for me to travel because I have so much pain in my neck and I require very specific beds to be able to sleep. Right now I'm sitting with a lot of pain in my neck, but it's just, if you just focus on this now, when you start extending yourself into, what if my neck injury gets worse, or what if it becomes permanent, and what if, because when the pain is from the herniated disc are bad, you can't really live like that. It's just so much pain that it's difficult to function. So long term, the rest of my life, that would not be fun. That I can't really see. But it's not real now. I mean, right now it's bearable. So I just deal with that. I don't add things on top of that. I think a lot of that has to do with just feeling. If I think about, I think I said when I had when I really started practicing this way, when I was sitting in a meditation center in Malaysia, and I was walking around and I got completely numb, and I've been meditating intensely for half a year or so, like really intensely, and I lost all my feelings. I couldn't feel anything, and I thought, I messed up my mind. I completely ruined my mind, which is a very common thing that happens when people start practicing meditation, because you feel different. So you think, I did something wrong. I'm no longer myself. And I did, for 3 days, I couldn't feel anything except for numbness. And I'm like, I messed up my mind. I'm going to end up in a mental hospital and I'll never be able to love anyone, never be able to feel any connection. And I was like, no, I don't want that. I'm Martin. I went away to become a monk because I wanted to help people, and I wanted to write a book. I wanted to help people with like, this is not who I wanted to become. And I had this identity of who I wanted to be, and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed until I was sitting and eating dana. They had come with food, and I remember it so clearly. I was watching the back of a Chinese monk, and I saw his hairy back, and I said, just screw it. I don't care anymore. If I go insane, end up in a mental hospital, I don't care, because I can't do this anymore. And he was like, what just happened? Because that thought created no reaction at all. And all of a sudden I felt so light, so peaceful. And I was just looking around me, and I was like, wow, this is a beautiful space I'm in. Oh, look at my hair. This is really interesting. And I was just enjoying being there. And I thought, I'll end up in a mental hospital and I'm going to go crazy. I'm like, okay. There was no resistance towards that future. So I had to look at and let go of the fear of just, because it's just a thought. When you say you fear going blind or feeling pain, it's not happening now, but you're pushing towards that. And many times just letting that come up and then observing it will make you see that there's nothing there. It's just you doing all of this. One caveat there is that don't overwhelm yourself, because doing that sounds like, okay, I'm just going to do that. But that can also become overwhelming. So if this is something that you have to push down because it's too much to deal with, don't feel you need to bring up all your dark sides and just look at all of them at once. Just don't do that. So be a little bit careful. But in general, just see that it's just a thought now. And if it happens, then you deal with it. Just trust that you know how to deal with it. If I would go blind, I mean, that would really suck. It would really suck. But if it happened, then I would deal with it, and I would do what I can. But why would I sit around and worry about that? I mean, there's a gazillion things that could happen to me. So it's a big part of it is willingness to feel the thought or the feeling that you have. And I could talk about this a lot, to feel your feelings. It doesn't mean go in and, I feel so bad and it's so terrible. Oh, I like this feeling. Like, no, just let it come up and say, hey, I don't need to engage with this. It's just a feeling that comes up and it spreads and then it just dissipates and it disappears. We tend to push against it, try to change it and do all this stuff, which causes problems instead of just letting it come up and disappear. Jack left the Theravada for Vajrayana 6 months ago, and I have to say it's a whole new way of meditation practice, like especially Dogshin and Mahamudra. Yeah, they're different in their approaches for sure. Nice. For those of you who are new, we talked like this a little bit before. We sit and then we do a practice called the 5-4-3-2-1 method, where we work on coming back to our senses. After that, today it's Monday, so we'll have a guided meditation, and then we'll finish around 9 o'clock. So the 5-4-3-2-1 method is a way of basically doing what we've been talking about. It's a way of coming, because what happens when we let go of, oh, this is so important, or this is so scary, or this is, and again, I'm not picking at anyone when I say this. I'm just trying to bring it up so you can see how silly in a way it is to punish ourselves like this. As we say, I feel bad about feeling bad. That's a really dumb thing to do, but still it's difficult to not do it. And I've done that so much myself. So one of the ways we get out of this is by focusing on our experience of reality, not on our story. Because if I'm worried about, let's say I'm worried about going blind, and that's the story of my life, and I worry about what will happen to the story of my life. Let's take something else. If I lose my job, that's a different thing. If I think about losing my job, then that's the story of your life, and you start worrying, what would I do? What's going to happen? What will happen to this? And what if I can't find another one? Instead of focusing on what's happening right now. Because if you could actually experience just being here, then losing your job, okay, well then I lost my job. What am I going to do now? Well, then I would go out and look for another one. I would have to work on my CV, and I'd have to prepare my resume, and I'd have to start getting contacts, and there's things I would do, but it would simply be things you were doing instead of, oh my goodness, I've lost my job, it's going to happen, I'm going to lose my house, everything is terrible. You just become much more efficient, you enjoy life more, and you have a better time being here if you can learn to enjoy being here. And part of that is learning to enjoy our senses. So the way we do that is by not having a strong relationship to the things we observe with our senses. We just see them for what they are. They're just there. We don't need to do anything with them. It's okay. And then you can choose to do something if you want to. So I see my thermos. And when I look at this thermos, I can tell the story about the thermos, but I can also just see it. I see the reflections. There's a texture. There's all these little dents here. And instead of reacting like, oh, that's bad, it's my thermos, it should be clean, I just, oh, that's interesting, look at that. This one is a bit longer, and here's a small one, and here's a dot. This almost looks like this was like dropped on something different. This might be, maybe it actually rolled on the ground. Oh, and here's the big one, yeah, that's interesting. And there's some stickers. So just seeing and being curious about what you see around you. Thermos. I see a outlet in the wall. And by the way, say this out aloud to yourself, the things you see around you. 5 things you can see. I see a tripod. Look at the shape, the texture, the reflections, the surfaces, the colors. How is that interacting with other things around it? I see a sock on the floor. And I see a remote control. Those are 5 things that I could see. Next, we take 4 things that we can feel. So I can feel itching in my eyes. I think I'm getting an allergy. And if I look at that, I could, well, then that would be, again, with hypochondria, I could say, oh, this is going to get, my allergy's going to go again, and I can start pushing against it and feeling, oh no, I should have taken my medicine. What if I have a difficult time doing this meditation now because I'm going to have this itching in my eye? Maybe I'm not going to be able to guide. Instead of, oh, this is really, this is a bit annoying. It just makes me blink all the time, but I can just deal with this. I don't have to deal with the whole story of, oh no, I'm going to fail at the meditation. No one's going to be able to hear what I say because I'm going to be so distracted by. Do you see the difference? I can feel the dryness of my hand. Really dry. Hey, mindful mama. Should have some cream. I can feel the blanket I have over my knees. And I can also feel that my hand gets stuck because it's so dry and, what do you call that? Chalky? That it gets stuck in the blanket. Those are 4 things that I could feel. Next we take 3 things that we can hear. I hear a car passing. I hear 2 fans. I hear one that's just like blowing air, but there's something else that has more of a sound to it. I think that's also a fan. Again, become curious about what you're hearing and listen for details and nuances within what you hear. Don't worry about what it is or what it means. I mean, unless it's the car coming towards you and like, oh, I should probably get out of the way. I hear music outside. Those were 3 things that I could hear. Next we take 2 things that we can smell. And these are senses we don't use so often. I can smell warm fabric. I can smell metal. Those are 2 things that I could smell. Next we take 1 thing that we can taste. I can taste a bit like iron. Maybe I'm bleeding. So I want you to put yourself in a comfortable position. This could be sitting cross-legged, you could be sitting in a chair, you could even be lying down, or standing up, or even walking if you walk with your eyes open and we're a bit careful. The main thing is that you put yourself in a position that is safe and that you feel that you can focus on just observing your breath for the next 20 minutes. Now it's easy to have a lot of thoughts running around about things that happened before or things that will happen after, or maybe worries about something that happened before, or worries about something that will happen after, and you think you need to figure out, come up with a solution to those things. And you might need to do that, but for the next 20 minutes, just give yourself permission to leave all that to the side and just enjoy observing your breath. It's a very simple act. It's one of the first, well, actually it is one of the first things, hopefully, that you did when you came out of your mother, is that you started breathing. And it's a really enjoyable thing to do. But we're not so used to observing it because it's something that happens all the time, whether we focus actively on it or just let it happen by itself. So for the next 20 minutes, we will be focusing on our breath. We won't be trying to control it. We're not doing any kind of breath work. Instead, we're just letting breath happen whatever way it wants to happen. And one of the reasons that we do this is because it gives us a view into what is happening inside of us. There's so much correlation between our breath and our state of mind, or what kind of feeling we're experiencing at the time. And it's also another way that we can help calm down ourselves, because when you focus on our senses and what's happening around us rather than our life story, we become less stressed. If you're about to do something difficult and you're just focusing on, well, I'm just breathing right now because I'm standing still, and then I'm putting one foot over there and then another foot over there, and then I move the other foot again, and it's just things happening one at a time, without stories, without the need for things to happen a specific way. It's just you guiding this body that you happen to be in the best way you know how to. Take away the pressure, take away the worry, and just do your best. It's okay. The ironic thing is that when you're okay with just doing the best you can, most likely you're going to be functioning better than you were when you were trying to stress yourself out, forcing yourself to be something that you might not be, or forcing yourself to do something that you might not want to do. To make it easier to focus on the breath, we will be doing a technique where we count our breaths from 1 to 8, and then down again from 8 to 1. Now I will be breathing so that you can hear my breath, but just let breath happen whatever way it does to you. And if you find it difficult to observe the breath, you can also listen to the sounds of me speaking, what you hear in your ears. Or you can observe the lights that happen behind your eyelids. There are many different ways of focusing. The breath just happens to be something that works for most people and that is readily accessible at all times, except for the few moments when you hold your breath. So, breathing in and out. 1. Breathing in and out. 2. In and out. 3. In and out. 4. In and out. 5. In and out. 6. In and out. 7. In and out. 8. In and out. 7. In and out. 6. In and out. 5. In and out. 3. In and out. 2. In and out. 1. Now keep breathing by yourself, counting your breath from 1 to 8, and then down again from 8 to 1. As you breathe in and out. 1. In and out. If you're not feeling good right now, if you're not enjoying being here, a good way to look at that is to think about that whenever you choose to feel good and enjoy being here, it will be now, because you can only experience what is happening right now. For some reason, right now is not enough. It doesn't allow you to enjoy just sitting here. You believe that right now should be a different right now. But when you think about it, it will still be right now. It's not that we're experiencing many different moments and they're on a timeline. It's just we're experiencing now. And somehow, for some reason, that now is constantly evolving and changing, but it's still just now. We're also not trying to enjoy and feel good about what is happening right now. What we're looking at is just enjoying right now. Not for the sake of any particular reason, but just being here is enjoyable. When you don't need to defend the sense of self that is so important, that needs to be successful, that needs to be healthy, that needs to be without pain, that needs to be liked, that needs to be loved, that needs to be all these things. But without that, life is very enjoyable. And the ironic thing is that it's much more likely that you will be healthy, that you will be loved, that you will be successful when you enjoy just now. Whatever happened before you sat down, and whatever will happen after you get up again, none of that really matters right now. Because right now you're just observing your breath. Your thoughts might be running around, or you might find it difficult, but that's okay. You've actively been focusing on your breath for almost 20 minutes soon. Allow yourself to feel good about that. Allow yourself to appreciate that you did something that you wanted to do. You may feel that you should have done better, that it should have been different, but whatever your experience has been, that's okay. Just keep on observing. Keep on being okay with whatever you're experiencing right now. As you're breathing in and out. 1. In and out. Feel free to keep on sitting if you want to, or get up and do something else. I am trying to finish the streams at around 9 o'clock so it doesn't get too late. And I hope that's okay with everyone. I hope that you'll take this chance for the coming week to really, I keep coming back to this over and over, but really ask yourself, if you're not feeling good or enjoying being here, why not? And is that something you could change? Not change what's happening around you, but change and just enjoy the process. Just enjoy being, even though things aren't the way you want them to be. And don't hinge your happiness on that, but instead just enjoy and see what happens, and do your best to create a reality that is the way you want it to be. So I wish you all a really pleasant week, and I'll see you back on Thursday again. Thank you for coming.